हाय, मेरा नाम है अवंतिका मोहन एंड मैं एक 3 साल के ऑलमोस्ट 3 साल के बच्चे की मम्मा हूँ एंड जब मैं प्रेग्नेंट थी या जब मैं जब मैंने बर्थ दिया था तो मेरे अंदर बहुत सारे क्वेश्चंस थे बिकॉज दिस वाज माय फर्स्ट एक्सपीरियंस एंड आसपास के लोग बहुत सारी इन्फॉर्मेशन देते हैं, कई चीज़ें गलत होती हैं, कई चीज़ें पुरानी होती हैं, तो आप बहुत सारा कन्फ्यूजन लेके चलते हो. तो इट्स ऑलवेज गुड टू हैव एन एक्सपर्ट्स एडवाइस एंड एक्सपर्ट व्हेन आई से इट्स नॉट मी बिकॉज ऑफ कोर्स देन हम अपनी मम्मा से भी पूछ सकते हैं, बट एक्सपर्ट एज इन अ मेडिकल डॉक्टर. सो आई हैव डॉक्टर दत्तर ऑन बोर्ड विद मी हु इज गोइंग टू बी आंसरिंग ऑल आवर क्वायरीज एंड बहुत सारे छोटे छोटे सवाल जो कि हमें लगता है कि ऐसे तो ऐसे करते हैं, ऐसे तो ऐसे करते हैं. तो वो सब चीज़ों को लेके मैं और डॉक्टर दत्तर एक सीरीज शुरू कर रहे हैं जिसमें कि हम आपके सारे सवालों के जवाब देंगे होपफुली. कुछ हमने कोशिश करी है अपनी तरफ से कुछ करने की, तो प्लीज़ देखना. और आपको लगता है कि कोई प्रेग्नेंट है या आपकी कोई फ्रेंड या सिस्टर या कोई होने वाला है, और या फिर आपको लगता है कि पहले आपने ये चीज़ बोली थी, कोई नहीं मान रहा था, आप ऑलरेडी मॉम हो, तो प्लीज़ उनके साथ शेयर करना. एंड या लाइक आई वुड लव टू गेट अ फीडबैक ऑन दिस. थैंक यू.
It was. Did you guys see? Because I don't know if it's raining a lot in Mumbai. So, did you guys see the eclipse yesterday, or you did not?
Yeah, I mean, actually, it was a lunar eclipse,
Yeah.
and the lunar eclipse is now going to come. It's somewhere in, I think, some 21st June or something of that sort.
And
That's
that,
going to be solar eclipse.
yes, and that's very interesting because I was talking to my mom. And yesterday, just before dinner, she's like, "I have to finish my food before it's eclipse." And I said, "Why?" And it's like, "Because the khana kharab ho jayega." This is the most Indian thing to say, "Ki khana kharab ho jayega." And then I was like, "No, khana nahi kharab hoga because the chance is not spreading infection; it's just rotating whatever. It's nothing to do with our food." He said, "Tumhe kuch nahi pata," which is like our parents in general. We've had this discussion. The other thing that she mentioned, and which is your something that you have spoken about in past, and I want people to understand this. Of course, it's not going to change your mind overnight, but it's good to have a health advisor who has years of experience to talk about what happens when you're pregnant. It's going to be Surya Grahan and solar eclipse very soon. So all of you will be like, not eat, not drink, because my father apparently has stitches here. यहाँ पे उनके कान के अंदर stitches हैं. And I have been told my dadi did some stitching when she was pregnant, and then there was solar eclipse in some part of the world. So because of that, he got this. So there was a whole discussion yesterday. So tell us what happens. What do you not have to eat and drink and do? So what do? You do sit like this the whole time? Solar eclipse?
Well, actually, all pregnant women are absolutely like they dread when there is a eclipse that is going to come. Okay, I mean, I almost kind of start thinking that it's like as if the sun or the moon during the eclipse is like haunting, trying to find out who is the pregnant lady over here. Come on.
Yeah, it's sitting right there. It's actually coming for pregnant women.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Now, honestly speaking, I mean, if we look at myths, there are a lot of funny myths actually. I mean, yes, just imagine that you are not supposed to eat. I'm just talking about myths. You are not supposed to eat any solid food. You can drink as much as you want, whatever liquids you want to drink,
Yeah.
but you are not supposed to use washroom.
Really?
Okay, how hilarious it can be. Yeah. I mean, then what do? I mean, you drink so much of liquid and don't go to the washroom
Oh
for
God,
those many number of hours. How hilarious.
pregnant women pee. Even if you say pee, they will pee. So you don't even have to give them water. If you just say the word pee, they will pee wherever they are. It's something that
True,
really.
you are not supposed to keep any sharp object next to you, no chakku and nothing should be kept next to you. You are not supposed to cut. You are not supposed to, I mean, you're not supposed to move anywhere. You're only supposed to sit at one place. As if those rays which are there, I mean, we all know that rays travel straight, I mean, physics wise. Yeah, but here, when element of myths come, then the rays could travel like this, like this, like this, like this, like this also and catch hold of the. I mean, it's so funny. It's so hilarious, actually.
Yeah. But are
So
you a religious person, doctor? Can I ask you that?
no, I'm not a very religious person, honestly speaking. I do believe that there is a superpower called nature, God, whatever you want to call it as. Not that I believe in a particular God or particular religion, but being a medical practitioner, I do know, that there is something which is beyond us, which does kind of many a times give us, uh, gets us down back onto the earth. That you are
Yeah.
only a human being. It tells you that
Yeah.
you are a human being. That's the fact of life. Now, if we really look at the whole thing, now I must say that in last 25 years of practice, yeah, there must have been so many eclipses that I have seen,
Yes.
and there have been so many occasions that at the cusp of the eclipse, I have landed up delivering a baby. And I know most of these babies, even today, their mothers come to me, and I have not found anything wrong with any baby. Okay, none of them have come with cleft lip or some abnormality, or they have started behaving some abnormally just because they were born. In fact, recently, the last very, very large solar eclipse, which happened just about 2 or 2 years back,
Yeah.
okay, it was at some 4 o'clock in Mumbai, and you will not believe, I delivered the mother and I went onto the terrace of the hospital building to watch the solar eclipse. So
Oh,
she delivered exactly bang at the cusp of the eclipse, and nothing went wrong. Mother is fine, baby is fine. This is old story, like 2-3 years old story.
yeah, yeah,
So
yeah.
I can
Around that time
definitely
only
vouch.
when I was pregnant. I think it was around that time only because my daughter is
Absolutely.
about 2 years, 8 months. 8 months, yeah.
Right. So if we really look at those myths, then probably the few things, that probably used to happen those days when there were no artificial lights, artificial illumination was not there. And people used to could not really understand at that point of time that during the time suddenly everything becomes dark. Okay, so it was something which is very fearful at that point of time because your whole life was dependent on the sun and the moon
Yeah.
and the light that is caused by the sun and the moon. So that was one thing that probably made a difference. Second important thing was that because there was something which was unexplainable, okay, they kind of considered it as a bad omen or something of that sort.
Yeah. Yeah.
Now, what happens typically in solar eclipse is this: that we all know that there are a lot of rays that come through from the sun.
Yeah.
The ultraviolet rays are harmful to your eyes, yeah,
Yeah.
but normally what happens that the intensity of light is so much so that you cannot directly watch the sun directly.
Yeah.
Okay, now here what happens because the moon is blocking it, you are able to watch the sun because there is not so much of intensity to the light. But in the bargain, what would happen is this that you are allowing the ultraviolet rays getting into your eyes directly. So the true scientific, physical, or physics principles wise, one thing that is for sure is that when you want to watch the solar eclipse or eclipse for that matter, you should always use some kind of an indirect way of watching it or use goggles, etc., so that those ultraviolet rays do not get into your eyes.
Yeah.
And the science stops there itself. There is nothing more than that. There are no bad rays. It's not that the sun becomes furious because moon has come in the way and the sun starts sending some missile kind of rays, which will affect the earth, or only
That's
that kind
just
of pregnant women and affect the
just a set of people who have watched too much of this one, Alif Laila or something. You remember Alif Laila, Dr. Datta?
absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so
And you have to understand this sun and moon and all these people who are sitting over there so many kilometers away, where they have got so much of time to find out pregnant women on the earth. Who has got time so much? Why are we bothering the sun and the moon? They don't have so much of time for
they
us.
don't have they are not bothered about us. But
They are
I
not bothered.
think that it's not just in our for what I understand, it's not just limited to our culture. Like, it's not just limited to Indian culture. I think abroad as well. If you say like Turkish, because they believe in a lot of the things that we do, or like I would say like few South American cultures as well who are still. I mean, of course, they believe in Christianity because everybody converted. But as an old saying, I think a lot of these people they do believe in this thing that pregnant women do get affected. But this is a nice way of looking at it because the sun is like there's no light, and suddenly you feel like there's a fear of life and anxiety that comes along. with these kind of things, but there is absolutely no evidence scientifically that anything happens. So what do you advise a pregnant woman during solar eclipse?
So I advise pregnant women to feel absolutely free in terms of eating, drinking, and using washrooms frequently.
Please,
Okay,
yes.
because what is biologically absolutely necessary.
Yeah.
I advise pregnant women that they can and they should enjoy this particular natural phenomena with the required protection. They should go even watch the eclipse if they want to. There is absolutely no problem with that. I tell them not to sit in some dark room, okay, by blocking all the external sunlight and all that kind of thing and sitting. I mean, to an extent, I have got people who have bought large black colored boards, papers to block their windows, okay, so that the sunlight should not get an entry through the window, okay, through the glass. Okay, so this is all very hilarious and very stupid actually. So don't get into all these kinds of nonsensical things. And now see, I mean, after all these things also there are few things, okay, to which you really have no solution to, which is, I mean, it's all right if the mother is saying उनका मन दुख नहीं करना है इसके लिए let us accept what she is saying. Now this has no sense. Yeah, this has got no meaning. Yeah.
Yeah.
So if you
Yeah.
kind of want to
You want to
not
keep it
contradict the mother, or
Yeah.
so if you want to keep them happy and that's why you want to do something, that's a different story. Yeah, but that doesn't mean that that is the truth. That is the scientific truth. We have to accept that they are completely, I mean, they are total myths and have got no scientific value to it at all.
Yeah, yeah. Very good. This is really cool.
And
And I'm
just
going
to
to
and just to reiterate that I have got a record of all those children who are born during the cusp of these eclipses, and all of them are doing well. Their mothers are doing well. Their mothers have not become extra paranoid than the standard mothers. Yeah.
That's normal. Huh?
Yeah,
So they
absolutely.
don't have any body parts which are like differently built or anything for sure. Yeah.
Oh,
That's something that I think it has this has to reach a lot of people. Let's see if people believe it, because no matter this, when it comes to something you have been brought up thinking, it's very difficult to actually see a person with reason to talk about it and suddenly change your mind. But if it's going to, I hope all of you who are watching can actually have some fresh light and give it a chance. Maybe you can ask Dr. Datar if you want, and you can ask him on any of the platforms if you feel there was any sort of discomfort or anything that happened, because it's all in your mind as well. Because if your mind is playing so strongly that something's going to happen during this time, it might just happen. It's not because of the sun, because like he said that the sun is not bothered much. It's you, and your mind is so plays such an important role on your body, because it's like a computing thing, you guys know. So yeah, that's so this is going to be our second topic, and then we're going to talk about the third topic. Hopefully we'll put it in different parts, or we'll try and put them together, because it's a lot of talking. Maybe you guys want to take a break. And the third topic we want to talk about is, oh, this is going to be my favorite, and I cannot thank you enough for this, is that he really helped me with this in so many ways. So I gave birth with a C-section. So C-section happened, and when C-section happened, before that I told Dr. Datta that I don't want C-section because I want to lose all the weight. Do you remember how big I was, Dr. Datta? Do you remember I was obese level 1? So you
yes,
told me
absolutely.
to stop eating
Oh,
sugar and biryani at the last stage, because I was getting bigger and bigger, and I did not stop eating. So he said, okay, this could be a problem, because he checked my sugar levels and there was nothing wrong. It's just that मैं बहुत ज़्यादा खा रही थी, so I was becoming really big. And I remember the day we came to the hospital in the evening for a normal checkup, and that's when we realized the water levels is little lower than the normal. So we had to do C-section. So I started crying. I started crying only because सब क्या बोलते हैं, once you do a C-section, you cannot work out. You will stay as your body will stay as it is because it takes longer for your body to heal. And my though even during like pregnancy, everything, I was working out, which is so strange because even though I was so big, I was still exercising, but it's just that I was consuming way more food than I was exercising for. So I would go and do squats. So I used to ask him, can I exercise? So please tell us, can you exercise, and at what level, till what stage can you exercise and travel? Please tell us that as well. So travel and exercise during pregnancy, and we'll talk about after this thing.
Okay, so three things, I mean two things. Let's first talk about exercise and then probably talk about the travel. First and foremost, the biggest complaint that I have, okay, about women today is this, that we eat much more and we consume much less. And gone are the days when we used to say that now you're pregnant, then do log ka khana hai, you eat, you hog, don't bother about it. If you don't eat, then the baby will not grow and all that kind of thing. Today, especially in India, we are seeing, at least I am seeing, close to about 30 to 40% of my pregnant girls having diabetes during pregnancy. Yeah, the age of pregnancy is increasing, the BMI is increasing, the incidence of diabetes is increasing, incidence of blood pressure is increasing, and that is why first and foremost, do not overeat at all points of time. Okay? I understand that there is a certain part of India where people are undernourished, etc. Women are undernourished. Maybe they represent that typical Indian woman, who eats like after all other people have eaten in the home. बेचारी को खाना मिलता है तो खाती है, नहीं तो ऐसी भूखी सो जाती है. I mean, that's a separate sector of people that we are talking of. But people who are like upper middle class people who are like independent women, who are earning probably, who are self-dependent women, that question does not arise. So there is no point in overeating unnecessarily, gaining too much of weight. Second important thing is that exercise is absolutely vital. It's absolutely necessary and important thing during the pregnancy, right?
Yeah.
See, you have to understand it this way, that natural childbirth is something like running a marathon.
Yeah.
Now, if you want to try running a marathon, then you have to prepare for the marathon. Yeah, you don't kind of not prepare, smoke, drink, and then suddenly next day you expect, suddenly your body should start functioning miraculously and you are able to successfully run the marathon. That doesn't happen, right? So you need to train your body for that marathon, and which means that you really require to do a lot of exercise, and you should do a lot of exercise, not only from the natural delivery point of view, but also from the health benefit point of view. Those people who are exercising, you will always find them to be doing much better in terms of possibility of diabetes, blood pressure, and so many other problems in pregnancy. Then the question comes up that what are the recommendations on exercise? And the recommendations on exercise are that continue the same exercise that you are doing for very easily about 30 to 40 minutes. The American College of Obstetricians and Gynecologists recommends about 40 minutes of moderate intensity exercise every day to every pregnant woman.
Yeah.
Now, what do you mean by moderate intensity? Okay, so I will give you a very simple way to calculate that.
Yeah.
Let us say if you are walking, or let us say if you are jogging, or let's say if you are cycling, if you are not getting breathless, if you are able to talk while you are exercising, if you are not feeling giddy, that is the moderate intensity exercise.
Okay.
Right? So anything which kind of ups your heart rate, but it doesn't kind of make you kind of, like you are like really kind of panting, or you really kind of, short of breath kind of a thing. Okay, then probably that's a bit too much, but anything before that level is an absolutely good idea. So swimming, walking,
Yeah.
slow jogging, cycling, all this can be very, very good.
Yeah.
All stretching exercises are absolutely good. Lot of people think that forward bending, sitting on the ground, squatting, etc., etc., is a bad thing to do. Completely wrong.
Yeah.
It's absolutely not a bad thing to do. All these things are good. Now, forward bending, even generally also we recommend no forward bending to generally the people. I mean,
Yeah,
if
yes.
you want to
Back.
pick up something
Yeah.
from the ground, exactly. If you want to pick up something from the ground, we always say that you squat and take it up.
Yeah.
Not only for pregnant women, but everybody. Yeah,
Yeah.
so that rule applies to pregnant women also. But barring that, okay, there is no stretching exercise which per se is a no-no to a pregnant woman
Yeah.
as such. Now, that's maybe a different story that there could be somebody who has some medical problem and hence certain exercises are not allowed to that woman because of her particular medical problem.
Yeah.
That's a separate story. But generally speaking, it is absolutely important that you exercise. It is, I tell all my patients to start getting active and exercise as early as possible.
Yeah.
Okay, and I put them on this exercise schedule on a very regular basis, and I want them to exercise very regularly because I want all of them to be absolutely fit.
Yeah.
I want all my girls to be as fit as Avanti.
But I was not fit
Because
during
I still
pregnancy. But I remember I went swimming and I drowned actually. The first day I went swimming, I drowned because my body weight was so much that I didn't realize the gravity of my weight. And so I went swimming and I drowned. And then when the guy got me out, I was so breathless. So he said, "What happened?" I said, "It's also because I'm panicking. I'm pregnant." So he said, "Oh, you're pregnant. Why are you swimming?" And I always used to come and complain to Dr. Datar that, this happened. I was squatting and then they're like, don't do it. And I was doing good 100, 200 squats every day. At least at the end, I was doing because I became so big that I was really worried. Because my company, they told me that you have to come back 7 kilos more than what you're leaving. This is the goal because our BMI has to be in check. And anyway, I'm a big girl, like I'm 5'9", etc. So I think at that time I was 663. So they particularly told me that if it's above 70, then we will put you on weight programming. Basically, you will have to lose weight, etc. So बाद में आते आते I got worried. 80, 85 तक तो I was chilled. I didn't realize because the weight is there's so much of space that it doesn't look like. And then every time I would go and check, the weight is okay, a little bit more, 2 kilos, 3 kilos, and it's okay. Like you think, okay, now I'm eating a little bit more, I'm hungry, and I was also traveling. Yes, this was another thing. I remember there was Durjoy's book launch in Pune, and he was meant to leave by car. And just before that thing, we had an appointment, and luckily it's right next to our house. So he came with me, and so we were prepared that he's going, and then he will come back the next day. And because I was on my own in Mumbai, it was like Durjoy was my only family, so it's very important to have like a good support system, etc. Anyway, I'm very needy, so it's okay. So I didn't want him to leave for so long. So then we went and visited him. This was on the ninth month, and of course we had traveled on airplanes, and with airplanes I was pretty much okay because I'm a flight attendant. So I have seen so many women flying at very late stage of their pregnancy, and it doesn't do anything to the child. I promise you that, not as a medical person, but of like 13 years of flying and looking at all these women fly, I promise you nothing happens. And of course, there is like the only reason you should not fly is when you have a complication, which Dr. Datar will tell us about. Like if there is a certain complication, if you are if there's any medical condition, or you think you're just about to deliver, then don't be on a plane because there's a possibility that you will deliver on the plane. But otherwise, travel is pretty safe. Of course, you are constantly uneasy because anyway, pregnant women throw up, whatever. And nausea could be one thing, but otherwise, there is no complications. But please tell us about that as well.
Okay, so if we have to talk about the air travel, yeah, then a lot of people have few questions about air travel. Number one, that they think that there is some different kind of an air pressure that gets built up
Yeah.
on the airplane, and you know
Yeah.
it very well that it's the same flight is kind of the cabin is kind of the pressure is maintained in a particular manner, which is same as that what is on the ground. Yeah,
Yeah.
so there is no difference in the pressure. Second thing that people think of is that there could be some kind of jerks and all that. Now, honestly speaking, there is nothing like a jerk and all that kind of a stuff. See,
Yeah.
you have got to understand that the God has created a mechanism in such a way that there is a uterus in which there is a balloon of water, and in that balloon of water is the baby. Yeah. Now, the biggest shock absorber is the balloon itself. Yeah. So even if your body moves, okay, it hardly kind of makes baby uncomfortable in that position because of that kind of a shock absorbing mechanism which is provided by the body. Third thing that they talk of is this, that they are scared of the radiation, and then the radiation comes in two parts. One is the scanning that takes place as a security measure when you are moving, and second is that talk of cosmic rays. Okay, that one kind of gets exposed to when you are on the aeroplane. And there has been a lot of study done. Lot means lots of study done on probably few lakhs or maybe more than lakhs of women who have traveled across, and we have come to a conclusion, people have come to a conclusion that per se these cosmic rays, etc., 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 are not going to have any kind of a bad effect on the baby, especially for the travelers. We are not talking of a person like like let's say like say Avantika, is that, I mean, her job is to travel on the air. Then that's a different story. Their exposure levels will be obviously different. But if you are kind of traveling as a passenger, then you don't need to get worried about all these kinds of things. It's absolutely minuscule. By the way, the scanners at the airport, absolutely no problem. They do not have any kind of a side effect, so that's also not a problem. Now, there is only one thing that you need to be worried of. One is this, that since pregnancy is a hypercoagulable stage, which means your blood is more has a tendency of clotting.
Yeah.
And since you are sitting for a very long time on the flight, okay, you may start developing some small blood clots, okay, because your blood is getting stagnated. And those blood clots can get into your brain or your heart and cause a major calamity or a problem. And hence, it makes a lot of sense that all pregnant women who are on the flights, especially those flights which are more than 4 hours, particularly, which are called as long haul flights, they should see to it that they keep on doing some kind of an exercise, deep breathing exercise, leg exercise, getting up, walking in between, and taking a lot of fluids. When they are kind of traveling now, I must say that fluids do not include alcohol. Fluids only include non-alcoholic drinks. And water. So that is. So that's all about the air travel. So air travel is perfectly safe. Most of the airline industries allow you to travel up to 32, 33, 34 weeks of gestation, unless the doctor says that you have a condition and you cannot travel. Otherwise,
it's 28 weeks if in case you have single pregnancy, and you can travel up to 33. So 28 weeks till 30, you can actually travel with the doctor's certificate, which is fit to fly. And the other thing that I wanted to tell you, and the fit to fly has to be within a week. So if you are on the plane and you have a fit to fly, it doesn't have to be a week before then, because then your weeks have changed already. So within that week. So that's another. I think if you are pregnant with 2 children, I think it's above 25, and then it closes up to 31, 32. It depends on which country you're flying to. So because after that you cannot fly, they say you don't fly. It's only because there is a possibility that you can give birth. We are trained to give birth to children on board as flight attendants, but of course not like Dr. Datar, because I have never given birth in all these years. So that's the only reasons that this happens. The other thing about security, you said about the security scanner. As a pregnant woman all over the world, you have a right to say no to that scanner, because you can say no, I will not go through that scanner, because if you are afraid, and the ultraviolet, or the cosmic rays, etc., it was only if you are exposed to, let's say, like if you're flying to America and then you are like flying over the North Pole, that's when you are really exposed to those rays. Like it's not everywhere that you fly you get lots, because there's a high percentage as well ki kitna exposure kahan par hai. So if you're flying very close to North Pole, yes, you will have, but like he said, like it's very, very minute, and it doesn't really affect the pregnancy as such. Yeah, that's the only thing. But it's a long flight. If you're going from India, let's say, to America, it's a long flight. So that's the only thing, blood circulation, medical conditions. This is the only thing. But otherwise, pregnancy is not a disease. A lot of this is the main thing. When once you have made a mindset, because our culture is as such that pregnancy is often seen as bed jao, kuch mat karo, jhuko mat, all these things, which is not true, because you're not ill, you're just pregnant.
So that's it for today, and I'm so happy that you guys were able to watch this video, because अगर आपके मन में कोई भी सवाल है इसको देखने के बाद या इसे देखने से पहले, तो प्लीज़ हमें मैसेज करना, और मैं और डॉक्टर दत्तर, मैं आपको लिंक भेजूंगी, उनका भी और मेरा भी। आप हमारे उस पर कॉमेंट कर सकते हैं। आप प्लीज़ किसी के साथ शेयर करिए जिसको आपको लगता है कि इस इन्फॉर्मेशन की ज़रूरत है, बिकॉज इट्स वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट। वी आर टॉकिंग अबाउट something that can really help people, so please go ahead and share it with as many people as possible, and make use of it, and I'll be here very very soon to answer the rest of the questions जो अब आप यहाँ से पूछेंगे। Bye.